Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. And another heavyweight news mashup video today, starting with a possible World Boxing Super Series at heavyweight, which is something that Kalle Sauerland has again teased could be a possibility for the next season. That is, if there is going to be a next season, because as we know, there has been some well-publicised financial issues with the World Boxing Super Series, but Kalle Sauerland has talked about a possible tournament at heavyweight, as well as mentioning middleweight, flyweight, super flyweight, and light heavyweights. So those are options being considered for 2021. And I love the idea of a heavyweight tournament, but I just can't see it actually happening because, as we know, as I alluded to earlier, with some of the financial issues that have cropped up in the past couple of years, fighters getting paid late, and was there going to be another season at cruiserweight, and some of that was down to the financials. So I just don't know if there's the pot of money that would be needed to entice the heavyweights that you'd want to have in the tournament. Bearing in mind, most of the other tournaments that have happened so far in terms of, say, like the cruiserweights, in both seasons where the cruiserweights have featured, you've basically had the top guys. Whereas at heavyweight, with the money that would be needed, may not be possible to get, even half of the top 10 just because of financial considerations. But also you have other considerations like promotional ties. A lot of the top heavyweights are split across a myriad of different promoters and broadcasters. So that also makes it a bit harder. But as I say, love the idea, just not sure how feasible it is. Meanwhile, Sam Jones, the manager for Joyce, says that if they did make a tournament at heavyweight, that Joyce would be more than up for that. He says the belts are all occupied in the meantime, and this is exactly what the heavyweight division needs. The juggernaut would enter this tournament no problem. Meanwhile, Billy Nelson, the trainer of Martin Bakole, has said on Twitter that if Frank Warren is struggling to make Daniel Dubois and Joyce, that Martin Bakole will gladly step in and fight either any time. And he says that Eddie Hearn only needs to pick up the phone and the fight can be made. And then Martin will gladly fight the other one. Easy money, he says, for Martin Bakole. So this is something that Billy Nelson, not for the first time, has mentioned. They've been angling for a potential fight with Daniel Dubois, saying that he would be more than willing to fight Dubois. But that sort of was met by crickets by Frank Warren. But this is the first time that I can sort of really remember that Joyce has been mentioned in the same sentence as Bakole. And I would like both of those fights, but I'm not sure that Frank Warren is going to sort of agree to that. But also, Sam Jones, the manager for Joyce, he's come back with a rather sarcastic tweet in regards to Billy Nelson's statement, saying, "Easy money for Bakole when he got bladdered at York Hall for minimum wage. You're a wonderful businessman, William. That's what I admire most about you, to be honest." Rather cutting response there from Sam Jones to Billy Nelson's suggestion that Martin Bakole would be, it'd be easy money for him fighting either Daniel Dubois or Joyce. Heavyweight Dave Alen, who's currently sparring with Alexander Usyk out in the Ukraine, has provided an update of how things are going. In particular, what happened when he tried to make things a little bit fancy in his first round of sparring with Usyk.
Hello everyone. Just keeping everyone up today, sparred again today. I can't go into any details really on what we're doing and stuff, but what I can tell you is a funny story. I did something in the spar which I was really happy with. So I did a little alley shuffle. You call it an alley shuffle, probably more truffle shuffle than alley shuffle when I do it. So anyway, I don't think he liked it. He did one back and he went up about 12 gears, and then for the next 30 seconds I didn't really, I saw how good he is. And I had to keep laughing to myself. He's good,
As we know as well, Dave Alen has also had an offer to go out and spar Alexander Povetkin in Russia, and he will likely do so after his time in Camp Usyk. Promoter Eddie Hearn has listed a number of fights as possible for the undercard of Alexander Povetkin vs Dillian Whyte 2, telling Boxing Social that John Ryder vs Chudinov and Lemieux could be part of it, Conor Benn vs Chris Jenkins, another heavyweight fight in Hughie Fury vs Dave Allen, and also Richard Riekpo, the cruiserweight, vs Dion Juma. And in respect of Hughie Fury vs Dave Allen, I like that fight for Hughie Fury in terms of it being one where he can sort of work out a few things that he's been practicing in the gym, in the ring, against a guy in Dave Allen who's somewhat limited. He'll come to fight, but ultimately he won't have enough to beat a guy like Hughie Fury, who will have the height, the reach, and there's a gulf in skills there. So for Dave Allen, that's not a great fight in my opinion, but for Hughie Fury, it's that sort of intermediary step that he needs from when he's been facing low-level journeyman right to world level. So Dave Allen is something in between that. Whether it gets made or not, that's another story. Previously, Dave Allen didn't like the money. The Italian heavyweight prospect Guido Vianello, who has a record of 7-0, has been confirmed for a fight on October 3rd in the top-ranked bubble against Kingsley Ibeh. And this is a step-up fight of sorts. Ibeh, last time out that he was in the ring, defeated undefeated Patrick Mailata via a majority decision. And it's not the first time that they've made this fight. They did make it for a number of weeks ago, but Ibeh had to pull out because he came down with coronavirus. So now he's well, and they are going to be fighting on October the 3rd in the top rank bubble. I quite like the fight. It is a step up, and Ibeh isn't just going to fall down at the first couple of right hands that he takes from Vianello. Well, you would expect. We'll have to see. But a lot of people are starting to get high on the potential for Vianello, and this is an opportunity for him to shine in the bubble. Meanwhile, another prospect, Germany's Peter Kadiru, has been announced in a fight with Roman Gorst for October the 10th, and that will be for the German heavyweight title. And on social media, see here on screen, this is a post from Peter Kadiru. He says, "It's official. My next fight is certain on 10/10/20. It's about the German championship in heavyweight. My next opponent is Roman Gorst, who holds the title. I will give everything to win the title. The ARD will broadcast the fight." So the translation's not completely perfect, but you get the gist of it. So Peter Kadiru stepping up to face an undefeated Roman Gorst, who I haven't seen fight, I really don't know too much about, but currently he is the German heavyweight champion and undefeated. So seemingly a bit of a step up for Peter Kadiru from some of the fodder that he has been facing. The Irish heavyweight Niall Kennedy, who faces Alen Babic next month, says that Babic has been doing a lot of talking, but he's never faced a big man like him. He says he's gone about his business his own way, and this is talking to Seconds Out. He's going about it loud, all right. He likes talking. He's a promoter's dream. He's doing well, and he's stopping his opponent. He's getting rid of everyone very quickly, but he hasn't fought a big man yet. I'm not a massive heavyweight, but I'm a big man in comparison to what he's fought so far. I think he thinks I'm turning up for a payday. I'm actually looking at Alen Babic as a way to get bigger paydays. He presents an opportunity for me to showcase my skills in England. He is what he is, a loudmouth. You can't argue with what he's done so far. He's been very good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going over there to make up the numbers. I'm going over there to sell myself. It's a fantastic chance for me to showcase what I can do. The 5-0 American prospect Timothy Moten is preparing for a fight on October the 31st, telling Sky, "I'll be 10-0 by March, then I'll be looking to take the next step up. In the next 2 years, I will definitely be in the top heavyweight talks. In the next 18 months, people will recognize that I will be a force to be reckoned with. In the next year, I will be a contender for some type of title in the top 15 or 20. People know who I am through what I've done with AJ. It was a blessing and a step in the right direction to one day becoming a world champion. If I stayed in camp with the world heavyweight champion, I must have some type of skill." And Timothy Moten is affiliated with James Toney Promotions, and he will be back in the ring, as I said, October the 31st. And rounding out this heavyweight news mashup video, the Australian heavyweight Lucas Browne says on social media, see here on screen, still contracted to fight one of these two in the USA on a Showtime card, hopefully by the end of the year. And these two, so the first post you can only see Otto Wallin, but he's also referring to Abdi Davtaev. So originally, pre-pandemic, was meant to face Otto Wallin, but then Wallin got injured, so another of Wallin's stablemates in the Dmitry Selita stable, Abdi Davtaev, stepped in, but the fight never happened due to the pandemic. So clearly contracted there to fight one of the two, and he is expecting it to happen. But we'll see where this one goes and if that actually goes ahead. But what do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.